What if I told you that the world's largest lake is actually a salty puddle left over from an ancient ocean? Or that if you stand on its sun-baked shores, you're actually standing nearly 100 feet below sea level? Welcome to the Caspian Sea, a massive, landlocked body of water that defies nearly every rule of geography. From the birthplace of the global oil boom to a highly contested five-nation border, this is a region where politics, geology, and ecology collide in spectacular fashion. Here are 15 incredible geography facts you never knew about the Caspian Sea. 1. It's a lake, a sea, and a geologic anomaly. The Caspian Sea represents one of the most fascinating geographic identity crises on Earth. Is it a lake or a sea? Spanning over 371,000 square kilometers, roughly the size of Japan, it easily holds the title of the world's largest inland body of water. Geographically speaking, because it is entirely landlocked and cut off from the global ocean system, modern definitions classify it as the world's largest lake. However, its historic title as a sea is more than just an ancient misnomer. The Romans, noticing its distinctly salty water, dubbed it a sea. Furthermore, unlike typical lakes that sit entirely on continental crust, the southern portion of the Caspian rests on an ancient oceanic crust. This dual nature makes it a geologic anomaly. It possesses the vast scale and sailing characteristics of a sea, yet remains permanently imprisoned within the heart of the Eurasian landmass as a colossal lake. 2. A name rooted in ancient empires. The name Caspian is derived from the Caspi, an ancient tribe who lived to the southwest of the sea in the region we now know as the South Caucasus. These people were among the first to populate its shores, and their name has stuck for millennia. However, throughout history, it has been known by many different titles. The Persians called it the Khazar Sea, named after a powerful empire that once dominated the northern steppes. In Turkic cultures, it was often referred to as the Sea of the West. This rich tapestry of names reflects the sea's position as a crossroads of civilizations, where empires rose and fell, each leaving their linguistic mark on its waters. 3. The lowest point in Europe, the Caspian Sea sits in a vast depression, a basin that is 27 to 29 meters below the level of the world's oceans. This makes its surface the lowest point in Europe, if you consider its northern shores to be within the European continent. However, this claim is complicated by the fact that the Caspian is also the lowest point in Asia, creating a cartographical debate that is as deep as the basin itself. The shoreline around the northern part of the sea is particularly shallow and low-lying, making it susceptible to dramatic fluctuations in size, where a small change in water level can result in a massive change in the coastline. 4. The Volga River is its lifeblood. The Caspian Sea is a closed basin, meaning its water comes from rainfall and river inflow, and it loses it only through evaporation. But one river dominates this water budget, the Volga. The Volga River, the longest river in Europe, accounts for over 80% of the Caspian's total freshwater inflow. It is the lifeblood of the sea, delivering massive volumes of water that effectively dilute the northern half of the Caspian. This is why the northern Caspian is almost entirely freshwater, while the southern portion, far from this dilution and influenced by salter rivers, maintains a higher salinity. 5. A fluctuating water level. The water level of the Caspian Sea is notoriously unstable. It is not governed by tides in the oceanic sense, but rather by the balance of evaporation and river inflow. Over the centuries, the sea has experienced dramatic rises and falls. In the early 20th century, it dropped significantly, but then rapidly rose in the 1940s, flooding coastal communities. More recently, since the 1990s, the water level has been dropping again, a decline that has accelerated due to climate change and reduced river flow. The shoreline is a moving target, constantly redefining the borders of the nations that surround it. 6. The heart of the global oil industry. The Caspian Sea has been a center for the oil industry for over a century. The first modern oil wells were drilled in the Absheron Peninsula near Baku in the 19th century. By the early 1900s, the region was producing more than half of the world's oil supply. This industrial boom transformed the sea into a vital economic artery. Today, offshore drilling platforms, the horizon, and the sea is home to some of the largest oil and gas fields in the world. The wealth extracted from beneath the seabed is the economic engine for several of the coastal states, making the politics of the region as deep as its waters. 7. A five-nation border, and a legal nightmare. The Caspian Sea is bordered by 5 countries: Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran, and Azerbaijan. For decades, the post-Soviet era left the status of the sea in legal limbo. Was it a sea, to be divided by international maritime law based on territorial waters and exclusive economic zones? Or was it a lake, which would require an equal division of the seabed and water between the 5 states? This dispute, known as the Caspian legal status, prevented major oil and gas projects from going ahead for years. The international community held its breath while these 5 nations argued over what the body of water actually was. 8. The caviar capital of the world, the Caspian Sea, is famous for one thing above all else: sturgeon. It is the primary source of the world's finest caviar, the unfertilized eggs of the beluga sturgeon. These ancient fish, which can live for over 100 years and grow to the size of a small car, have been migrating up the rivers that feed the Caspian for millions of years. However, overfishing and the damming of rivers have decimated the sturgeon population. Illegal poaching has turned the caviar trade into a dark and shadowy black market, threatening to end the Caspian's reign as the world's caviar capital. 9. The home of the Caspian monster. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union built a secret weapons testing site on the Caspian Sea. It was here that they developed the Ekranoplan, a massive ground-effect vehicle that flew just meters above the water surface. Nicknamed the Caspian Monster by American intelligence, this craft was part boat and part airplane. It used the aerodynamic ground effect to achieve incredible speeds and carrying capacity, baffling Western observers until the fall of the Soviet Union. The sea's flat, calm surface provided the perfect, isolated testing ground for this experimental and terrifying vehicle. 10. Islands of mud volcanoes. The Caspian Sea is home to hundreds of islands, but they aren't your typical tropical paradises. Many of them are the product of the region's underlying geology. The area is seismically active, and the seabed is dotted with mud volcanoes. When these volcanoes erupt, they push up sediment and gas, creating temporary islands that appear and sometimes disappear. These features, such as the island that emerged off the coast of Azerbaijan in 2023, are stark, gray, and inhospitable, but they are fascinating reminders of the volatile tectonic forces working beneath the water. 11. Ancient tectonic forces. The Caspian Sea's unique geology is a result of its position in a region of continental collision. It lies in the southern part of the Eastern European craton, a stable piece of Earth's crust, but it is being squeezed between the Eurasian and Arabian tectonic plates. This collision created the Caucasus Mountains to the west and the Alborz Mountains to the south. The southern Caspian Basin is actually a relic of the ancient Tethys Ocean, which was closed up by these tectonic movements. This is why the southern Caspian is deeper and sits on oceanic crust, while the northern part is on continental crust. 12. A surprising haven for seals. It may seem strange to think of a landlocked body of water as a home for marine mammals, but the Caspian Sea is home to the Caspian seal. This is the only seal species found in a lake and is one of the smallest pinnipeds in the world. They are an isolated population that has been separated from their Arctic ancestors for millions of years. Today, they face a new set of threats, including habitat loss, disease, and the changing climate of the region, making their survival a key indicator of the sea's overall health. 13. An above-ground cave of remains nestled on the shores of the Caspian Sea in Turkmenistan is the Dzungar Cave, also known as the Cave of the Dead. This site is an above-ground karst cave that has yielded a remarkable discovery, an immense collection of ancient animal bones and fossils. The remains, which include those of cave lions, hyenas, and horses, are so dense that the floor is a jumbled mosaic of bones. It provides an unprecedented window into the region's prehistoric past and the animals that once roamed the shores of the ancient sea. 14. The potential for a new ocean. There's a fascinating and sobering theory among some geologists that the Caspian Sea could one day become an ocean again. The African tectonic plate is moving northwards into Europe, causing the Mediterranean Sea to close. As it does, the African plate is pushing up mountains and sinking parts of the Eurasian continent. This slow, continental drift could eventually connect the Caspian Sea to the Black Sea and the Mediterranean once again, flooding the currently landlocked basin with oceanic water and resetting its identity from a lake back to a sea. 15. A crossroads of destiny. Ultimately, the Caspian Sea is more than just a body of water. It is a crossroads of destiny. From its fluctuating waters that redraw political maps, to its disappearing caviar that shifts global delicacies, the sea is a barometer for change. It embodies the struggle between ancient history and modern ambition. It is a place where the politics of 5 nations depend on the whims of a single river's flow, and where the economic future of a region rests on the seabed. This salty puddle left over from an ancient ocean is a testament to the power of geography to shape civilization, to create conflict, and to inspire awe. It stands alone, a defiant inland sea, holding its secrets beneath a surface that is neither entirely a lake nor entirely an ocean, but a unique wonder of our planet.